Hey there. So people have been asking me, how did I get into the real? The real is a difficult place to deal with. That rhymed for that. When I was 2, my parents left. They put an application in for me for the Real World Cancun. So I was 2 when that happened. Now I'm on this show where a lot's going on. A lot of dramatic experiences. A lot of things that a 2-year-old shouldn't experience. I had my stomach pumped 4 times. That was real. So as I grew up, you fall down a lot. You get cuts. You get little scabs like these, and you pick the scabs. When you pick the scab, it allows for healing. And that's the real, Life's all about those scabs healing, So when I was 10, and I fell down, the monster truck came, the truck came by, it drove by, and the man inside the truck, he yelled at me. He yelled right at me. He said, "How much for those Air Maxes, boy?" So I looked down at those sneakers, and I looked back at the man. And in my head, I thought, what does that question even mean, really? How much for those Air Maxes, boy? He wanted a part of me, but he wouldn't accept the whole me. It's like I wasn't accepted into society as a whole. I wasn't a human being. I was a pair of sneakers. And there's a price for that? I didn't agree with that. Somebody hand me a lemon, please. Thanks, man. So I got thinking, am I just a pair of shoes that you can just buy for cash, I was more than that. I wasn't just a pair of shoes. It's funny to think about, but that man got me thinking about life. Life's always going to hand you this sour lemon, a bad time. It makes you think like what you are, You gotta bite it like that and taste what it has for you. It is sour. It is hard. It's difficult. But those sour times make you realize, like I'm realizing right now, that the Real World Cancun and that man in the monster truck trying to buy my sneakers doesn't define me. So that's when I met Lucy. Lucy was the best friend I've ever had. She was great. I found her on the side of the road. She didn't look so well. I was only 12 at the time. She was the cutest little thing. Lucy couldn't walk anymore. Lucy was actually a squirrel. Lucy was a squirrel that had recently just gotten run over by the same monster truck that had just asked me to buy my sneakers. And it's funny because Lucy couldn't walk, but for the 3 months that I tried to heal her, she got better. She could walk on her front feet. Her back legs couldn't work anymore, but she didn't end her life. She didn't choose to just give up. Lucy made it. I chose to take my left Air Max sneaker, actually, and make it a bed for Lucy. And the craziest part about all of this is her favorite snacks were lemons. And I thought, how in the world could that happen? Here's a squirrel who's been given lemons her whole life, She's been given these sad situations. And there I was, trying to figure out who I was. And she loves these lemons. So you try to piece this together, and you try to let those scabs heal, and you try to think about who you are. You're not just a pair of sneakers. And you're handed these lemons. But I learned from Lucy that you just gotta... You gotta bite into them a bit. You gotta taste the lemon for what it is. You gotta learn from it. And I met these great people from there on out, And here I am now reading books, the Greek reader. Who would have known that 12-year-old kid would have learned Greek, Medeiros. That's my favorite character. You have to read this book. It'll explain everything. Buddhism is bullshit. Art and illusion. I made a profession out of art. I became an artistic illusionist, which means I made people think I was there when I really am not in certain situations, to help guide them through difficult situations like, the lemons. Nobody helped me with any of that, though, No one but Lucy. I was listening to John Lennon, sing, and he sang a verse and it went, we will. John Lennon taught me that Lennon sounds like lemon. And I thought to myself, here's John Lennon, a guy who's been given lemons his whole life. So I followed the Beatles on tour. It was incredible. All these things kept happening to me. And at the end of the day, I thought to myself, how do I deserve this? How do I deserve all these great things? And I'm sitting in my backyard, and I was about 16, after all these things happened. And I'm sitting in my backyard all alone during, the sunset. And about 6 squirrels just lined up right in front of me. And I'm thinking to myself, how did this all happen? And there goes Lucy crawling up next to them in line, in formation. And they're just all eating a pile of lemons that were just there somehow. So I grabbed a lemon, I looked at it, I stared at it, and I thought to myself, Buddhism is complete bullshit. Thank you.